And we're back.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I didn't answer the question. So
Right. Let's talk about that.
So, okay, working with Alice Cooper, and like I said, I didn't get to see a lot of those heroes of mine. So, and Alice Cooper did come through Winnipeg, and I got to see him back in the day. But you know, a lot of what happened to me later by moving to LA was some of my heroes became musical peers, and I got to work with a lot of those people. And Alice Cooper was a very awesome gig because the drum gig is much more than just go play a bunch of songs. It's literally, it is play a bunch of songs. There's a lot of songs in an Alice Cooper set. I think 27, 28 songs. So, and because it's a segue between a whole section of songs, it's not always one, you know, start to finish song. My attention span it was like really intense to like, okay, there's different parts here. Of course, rehearsing the gig is one thing. You know, practice by yourself, and I watch video and you know, just I studied the gig like I knew it. But then to actually play it is a whole other thing. But working with Alice, he's the coolest guy. And I would say that I really enjoy being starstruck still. I love feeling that, you know, like, even though I'm in a band situation with these guys, I have utmost respect for them. So I mean, I'm constantly pinching myself going, this is pretty cool. Yeah.
This is very cool. What are some of the things that you've learned from some of these guys that you never knew before when you hit that level with Alice, with Vince, with Slash?
The more successful the person is, the nicer they are. I really find that those really top-tiered people that have had some success and are really in a good place in their life are just amazing people to tour with, outside of music. So I've really had a pleasure experience of just being around a lot of great personalities. I mean, definitely some eclectic and electric personalities of, you know, some famous bad boys and different things that I've been connected with. But I, myself personally, I'm a little more arm's length. I would say that I like to be around the chaos, but I don't want to be the one that's, you know, contributing to the next chapters of Motley Crue, The Dirt, and all that. So I definitely live, you know, shotgun vicariously through some of these guys I've worked with.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
That does. Also, talk about who your tech is on tour right now, because I think it's important to mention them, because those guys are very important, because without those guys, nothing happens.
I have had a great experience with working with a tech who's been basically for 10 years now, seen me through several different bands, and his name's Mark Kuntz, and we met with Vince Neil, and he was with me through most of that situation. And the good thing about Mark Kuntz is he's sort of, he's not a drummer. He's actually a well-trained guy, and he's, you know, he understands all kinds of instruments, and he's great at teching for me in the sense that he sets everything up exactly as I like it. Sometimes it's great because he doesn't form an opinion on, hey, what do you think about the snare drum changing? You know, he's just like, this is what you like, and this is, you know, how I need it to be done every day, and it's perfect every day. He's got a great, you know, handle on that. So he's with me with Slash right now, and I love him dearly. But I have to mention that Kuntz wasn't available when I first got the Slash gig, and I had the pleasure of sharing a tech with Alex Van Halen's from tech, John Douglas, who is, I have to mention John because he's one of my favorite guys, because he's a great drummer in his own right. He's a fabulous artist, and he's painted some of the best drum kits in the business, custom paint jobs. He did Joe Perry from Aerosmith's wife's portrait on the Gibson. His wife Billy. That's John's work, and so he painted a custom kit for me, and I was lucky to have him as a tech on tour, you know, about a year and a half ago, and he went back to Alex Van Halen. That was kind of a treat to have JD, because he's definitely one of the elite guys too. But I felt like I only got to have him for a short while, but it kind of worked out good. But I have to tell you about the cool thing about JD being able to, as a great drummer. We had a little experience over in Russia with Slash, where unfortunately Todd Kearns, our bassist, had a detached retina while we were on tour. It was a real messed up scenario that, like, that day we had to deal with something. It was either maybe cancel the show or what. And luckily, because JD is a great drummer, we looked at each other and I said, well, I play all the instruments. I can just switch over to bass. Hopefully Slash is going to be up for this sold-out show in Russia. And JD actually nailed the gig. I had to kind of convince him. I'm like, hey, you got your gig shoes on? You okay to play the gig tonight? He's like, no, I'm not ready to play the gig. You know the show. You watched it 100 times. And he was like, But he also actually filled in for ZZ Top on one day when he was their tech too. So
Wow.
JD's more than capable. So pretty unique situation to have a drum tech that could come in and play the gig too.
Right.
So
Very cool.
that's a very long story. Sorry about
No, very cool story. And you want to talk about your kit that you're using right now, which I've seen and I think is...
that. I have two kits. So maybe the kit you're talking about is the clear one. So what's been happening? I love that kit. It's a Vistalite kit, and to some people, Vistalite maybe has a stereotype of not sounding as good as wood drums. I would say that I've had no problems. It sounds so loud, and it's really in my face. It's a great live kit.
Right.
I love it. The kick drum is 28.
28.
It's a 28-inch kick drum. I got the idea from Abe Laboriel Jr. With Paul McCartney. I went to see them.
Amazing drummer.
Yeah, and I just was like, look at those drums, they're so big, but the gig was so musical. He played so, I was just like, what? That's a giant kick drum playing Beatles songs. So I remember calling up DW the next day, and I had asked them over there, I said, what size of kick drum? And they told me it was a 28, and I was like, I need that. I gotta have that. So
Nice.
my first kit after that was a 28. So the new Vistalite kit, of course, is a 28, and it's a 13, 16, 18. Those are more standard sizes.
Right.
And I do have another DW kit, which is a really great red sparkle kit. What's happening is we're kind of ping-ponging gear, because we're you might be in Europe, and then the next tour might go to South America or something. So we've kind of set it up, and we have identical kits kind of crisscrossing.
Do you want to? This is an interesting story, and I know this from before. Is why you like the Vistalite kits from growing up when you were a kid. It wasn't John Bonham that you saw that pattern. It was the drummer for the Bay City Rollers.
Yeah, it's kind of like people go, really? That's your reason? But
I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, I remember watching the Saturday morning cartoon show. I'd be playing with my Kiss dolls, 8 years old. Same thing, right? But there was the Saturday morning Bay City Roller show, and I just remember seeing that drummer. It might have been, it was a clear kit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was my first connection with those drums, and I'll never forget it.
See, you'll admit it.
I'm happy to admit it.
And then I don't blame, because you know what? I used to watch the same show, and I had the Kiss action figures. They weren't dolls. But, yeah, so there's a little story with that. You want it?
They have new releases. Do you have the new Kiss dolls? Come on, you gotta...
Yeah, I've got boxes of stuff like that.
I call that the man-child items.
It's exact. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm actually go to Vegas. Maybe if you're in Vegas, we'll go golfing.
No, maybe we'll go, I'll bring you over and you can look at my man-child room in the house with all my Kiss crap and my...
It's awesome. Also, preparing for a tour. Is there stuff you do physically? Because, being a drummer, people don't realize how physical and how well you have to take care of yourself on tours. It's not all parties and stuff.
Well, it was, and then I got older, and then I realized that from the days when in my 20s, because I'm 43 now, I didn't think about practicing before the show in the sense of warming up, because a lot of the times the gigs that I was doing, if you grow up in like nightclubs and different things, there's not really a warm-up place. You just kind of you show up and you play. But now having the luxury of some place where I can go and actually practice before a gig, it's real important for me just to get my hands warm. And I've been actually getting massages for my back. Drummers slouch. I'm trying to actually
posture is
not
very
slouch
important.
while I'm sitting here, and I've been doing it for so many years, trying to sit up straight because my back is out of whack. My back is out of whack. I have trouble turning to the right sometimes, just from, you play like 30 shows in a row, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm done. I gotta go home and get fixed. But I'm getting better at figuring out, hey, I gotta warm up, stretching. It's really important because young kids don't always get taught, oh, you need to warm up. You get taught how to play, but no one tells you, hey, you might want to consider those things. And of course, those just get important as you get older.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Anything else you want to throw out the plug?
I don't know. This is very cool. I think we're doing the inaugural interview.
This is the very first interview for DRUMline.net in Canada.
That's special. That's awesome.
This is great. My buddy, Brent Fitz, Canadian Mafia member. We always meet at the Neil Peart kit at NAMM.
Yes, we do. Thank you for saying his name right.
Absolutely.
Neil
Peart.
Neil Peart.
Awesome. Thank you very much.